YouTubers, yep, it has come to this. I just got this article from somebody, from a good friend that keeps sending me really good messages and stuff that people need to know. And it's coming to this, and it will keep. If there isn't a proper crash or correction or something, it will keep going, and the inevitable will happen where people will have to start leaving their own country. You know, it's going to get out of control. Six-figure income needed to buy almost any GTA home, says report. GTA stands for Greater Toronto Area, if you guys don't know. As the cost of Toronto housing rises, so do the finance challenges for young adults. Report says $200,000 a year is the average income needed for a detached house in Toronto. 200 large people. For that. A year. For that. For this. A house for sale in Islington Avenue and the Queensway in a May 16th file report. It takes a household income of $200,663 a year to afford the average detached house in Toronto house, according to the report from the Red Pin brokerage. 200 large for that. I'm not putting down the house. I just don't believe the house is worth as much as they're asking. It takes six-figure income to afford virtually any Toronto area home, even a condo. And that expense is presenting a considerable financial challenge to to important cohort of millennial consumers. Sorry guys, I'm reading through a screen and it's blurring up on me. I don't know why. Separate studies from the two real estate companies on Thursday paint pictures of high income requirements of affording a home and housing aspirations of Canada's peak millennials, adults 25 to 30. It takes a household income of more than $200,000 a year to carry a $1.5 million cost on the average detached house in the Toronto region, according to the report of the Red Pin brokerage. Holy crap. Even the average apartment costing about $511,000 requires an annual income of $92,925 to afford a $1,933 monthly mortgage. Sorry, someone's messaging me here. Plus taxes, utilities, condo fees, according to the report. Meantime, 59% of those aged 25 to 30 in Ontario would like to own a detached house in the next 5 years. So remember, guys, when I'm talking to you guys about... Sorry, I keep getting messages here. Do you remember when I keep talking to you guys about how basically we're having a brain drain where everyone's leaving because no one's going to pay that much money for that house. Anyone that does pay for that much money for that house is totally fooling themselves. You know what I'm saying? So and the people have to leave. You know, people have to leave because they can't afford to live. 30% think they will be able to afford one. 30%. That's really good. That's high hopes. You know what I'm saying? According to the new Roll Page report, based in finding by larger research. Sorry, guys. I'm just reading this through the screen. It's kind of hard. According to the Red Pin buyers, more than $150,000 a year to cover the cost of a home, half of 22 Toronto area municipalities. The average Toronto home price is $864,000, is affordable to buyers with annual income of $147,000, though that average may be skewed lower by the number of condos on the market. The most expensive real estate in the region is King Township. Buyers need $264,000 a year to afford a monthly mortgage of $5,883 with expenses on average price of $1.6 million. Okay, guys, let me get my ugly mug into this. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? And a lot of people write to me and say, yeah, but you know what, in Hong Kong, good luck buying this. And, oh, if you're in Tokyo, good luck. Yeah, but you guys are forgetting how big Canada is, how much space Canada is. But then we're not factoring the 99,993 empty homes in the GTA area too. So I mean, when you factor those in, those to me, and I commented and I said this before, those empty homes don't exist because they're real. They're there, but they don't exist on the reports. Why? Because families aren't living in them. They're just empty. They're left empty as investment purchases, which is something people need to take into consideration when factoring these numbers, right? So, okay, so they're saying supply and demand's not working. Of course, supply is now, we don't have enough supply. Why? Because it's very simple. It's because there's 100,000 empty homes. If you free up 100,000 empty units, you will have a lot of families being able to live in places. Now, what's going to happen? I think the correction is going to take place in Toronto. I think prices will continue to drop because there's no way that Toronto... The only way to fix it, is to get the foreign investors back in the market. If the foreign investors could get back in the market or get some incentives or find a loophole, then they could correct that and then they could keep fixing and then raising prices continuously as they progress. Until... sorry, guys. They find a way to fix the decline in housing prices. There's no way. They're going to have to find loopholes for the foreign investors if they want the prices to stay propped up. It's the only way it's going to work. The Canadian proper, screwed. Everyone I went to high school with, everyone I went to grade school with, luckily a lot of them bought in their early 20s and got married really early. I didn't. And for those that didn't and then settled down early, basically were in a situation I was where I had to leave the city, right? And I had no choice. I had to leave in Vancouver because the cost of living in Vancouver is way too expensive, right? But it's okay. So how can they fix this? They need to bring in more foreign investors. Seattle is doing that now. Seattle, Tacoma, Washington, King County, that area of Seattle. I had a report from someone that lives there, that works in the real estate board, and told me that they're flying in more and more investors. They're tripling investors coming into Seattle and accommodating them in free hotels, free flights, and then selling them 10, 20 homes apiece. And that's what's been happening. So Seattle's been doing that to prop up the numbers to keep going. And if you haven't followed Seattle, check out what's happening in Seattle because it's out of control right now for pricing. Seattle is the number one growing in King County and like that area there. Tacoma, I think on the border, like those areas are really are on fire right now. Some of the highest grossing real estate prices in the country. Anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think. The only way for this to work is like I said, is for the Canadian proper to move out, and people are going to have to mass exodus out of the country. I mean, if people don't want to live in small towns, they're going to have to move to American cities, right? And a lot of American cities are still very, very reasonably affordable, where you could make it on a $50,000 a year income for the whole family and have a decent house with land and everything. And I know I'm not promoting to move to the U.S. We need to fix this problem, you know. Let me know what you guys think. I want to know. Comment below.